Standard Time. It's LinkedIn Live, Hour of Empower. I am so honored. I mean, we have some guests and we have some really special guests, and everybody's special in their own way. But having Mike today, Ashabraner, I hope I didn't mispronounce it, a
Good job.
great colleague too, and somebody that, if you took the time today, you're going to get a reward. With that said, live chat's open. We encourage your interaction. It's what's driving this show and what's driving this community. And our keyword today is community. Rocky's here. She's just great too. I mean, she's got a show that I watch and I encourage everybody to watch. And you got yourself a buffet here of wonderful people with wonderful information that they're freely giving out, working hard to prepare, and are thoughtful in their approach. So with that, I want to introduce Mike to everybody, and Mike can tell you a little bit about himself, and I think you're going to be real excited. Mike?
Hey, Donald, man, I just told you 7 minutes ago that I was kind of down in the dumps and all over the place, like a cat chasing a laser light on crack. And it's amazing how you and I could just start a combo, turn the live on, and continue that thing, man. And now I feel excited. I see people trickling in. Paul Deach, obviously Raquel, Miss Raquel. I can't roll my R's. It's a pleasure to be here. I was telling you backstage that you're one of the realest guys. It took me 1 minute, Donald, to realize how real you were. The stuff you said, the way you said it, I said, wow. Because it's not always the case. And I'm not going to, judge or badmouth anyone. I'm just saying that, eagles, hounds, and penguins have nothing in common. And I think
Mhm.
that's really the takeaway from our combo today when we talk about community. So just real quick, the reason that I have any experience and have done what we have done and find people like you and Raquel and just grow a community on and offline that I kind of refer to as redneck Camelot. The way this all got started, real short, but powerful story. Imagine this is the industry I was in, and I still am financial, right? So I do financial coaching. And the problem with that is that right after COVID, we couldn't go out and play anymore, especially us older folks, right? Around late 30s or, and up. We like to do in-person things, right? So when COVID hit, we couldn't go out and play anymore. And so what did we do? Most of us went on social media, LinkedIn in particular. We started pitch slapping with a P, pitch slapping, and spamming people. That was me. And other people were successful, Donald. Me, I couldn't figure it out. And I'm a relatively kind of smart guy, and I spent 2 years getting knocked out, losing my hairline. See, I got hair, but that right there is sending messages for 2 years on LinkedIn. And so what happened was I'm in an industry that I love and I'm passionate. Most people need it. 95% of the people in this country need it. But I'm so regulated because I'm a fiduciary. I'm so regulated, I can't talk about it. And no one in our country wants to hear about it. How do you make money when you can't talk about it? No one wants to hear it. So that's where it began. I learned how to make friends. I was convinced if people got to know who I was, what I value, what I'm about, if I could bring them value, be a trusted guide, use my experiences that I've overcome to help them do it faster, I believe deep down in the bottom of my heart that that would be enough to overcome the lack of sales and all these things that I didn't know and didn't like. And by God, look what happened. Explosion of community. I'm spoiled rotten. I'm connecting with folks like you and other folks who made this happen. So I'm just humbled, completely blessed, and appreciate this opportunity to discuss and give people valuable stuff. I want people to leave here and go, wow, I can't believe those two gave that away for free, man. You're a value-based guy, and so am I. So I'm honored to be here. And I'm not a guru, I'm a guide, man. I'm just a guy who you want to go on the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, but you're gonna get eaten by a bear and fall off a cliff if you don't have someone who's been there before you, right? And that's where I see myself, man. And that's where I see you. That's why I think people gravitate to you. So completely honored, man.
Oh, I mean, I could just let you talk and I'd have the time of my day. And, I think that's the cool thing is doing this as often as I do every day. Co-hosting is like co-coaching each other, right? The stuff
Yeah.
we share back and forth in itself is worth being on together. And I think the key is when you can't be on LinkedIn Live, you should be on something else with someone, right?
Right.
Keep learning from them, ratchet up together, be a workout buddy. But before I go too much further, I mean, we got a huge outpouring of individuals. It wouldn't be fair. Raquel's here. Mike is right in front of you. Uh, Raquel, Paul's an everyday, just a wonderful guy. Introduced me to 7 people a week ago, and like 4 already going on the show. You know, I want to bring more people on, give everybody a chance to be in the spotlight. Everybody's got a true voice, should be heard and seen, right? And if you support the show, the show should support you. Moving on, Leslie's here. Leslie's just amazing. I would actually reach out definitely to the people who are commenting and see if you're connected. If you have something in alignment, you definitely have something in common today because you're here at the same time doing the same thing, probably for the same reason. Paul, everybody, it's nice to have circles within circles. Robert's here. Robert was on the show yesterday. He's got an incredible story. You know, it's nice to meet and greet. You know, it's so nice when people are polite. Good morning. Good to see you. And I know Kelly. Kelly's like every Thursday. Plus, we do so much, and she just started her Awesome Journey show. So that would be something to put on your calendar. Nicole's here. Nicole's just amazing. Was on the show just a few days ago. And me and Nicole connected so well because really most people, I spend about an hour on a Zoom before I even consider someone for the show. So I'm trying to curate it so it's, you know, like-minded people doing like-minded things. Save you from having to filter it out later. Harvey's here. Harvey's doing every Friday with Christy. Harvey's just a wonderful guy. If you don't see him on my show, see him on any show. Or just reach out to them because I'm here to promote everybody. You know, we all rise together. I've never met anyone more passionate than Mike when it comes to helping people.
Well, except Donald Cohen. He's got to be tied with me.
Yeah, we're competing for how many people we can help in what short a period of time. Vibrant guests, likable. That's right. You know, it's all the person. Guilty. People will learn about my story to LinkedIn. It started as the $10,000 mistake. This platform has changed my life. It can if you let it, right? Yeah. And if you get into collaboration instead of competition, if you're trying to keep things small instead of build something bigger, then it's there. I mean, 900 million people, all you got to do is be good enough not to be bad, right? So, you know, Paul
don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah,
don't
great
talk yourself out of good stuff.
So anyways, Mike, what do you think about this wonderful interaction feedback? Christy's here, who's every Friday. Thank you so much, Christy, for what you do. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, I mean, I just told you, one of the things about being authentic and really owning that, man, it sounds great. It sounds romanticized. I'm authentic. I'm a open book, but that's not how we do business especially in this country, in this continent. We don't want people to see perceived weaknesses. We don't want to air our dirty laundry. We don't want people to know that our child's having major issues that's taking us down. But that's exactly what we as in the people in the hounds and the folks that we work with, that's what we do. We're tired of the facade, man. And that's why Nicole, I mean, look at Nicole and Guy Galindo. I mean, she broke her daggum knee in the worst way possible and her life changed for the best, right? Like immediately in 4 weeks. I mean, you know, the courage on that lady. You know, we talk about it all the time, Donald. You talk about it. We don't start off with confidence. Well, I don't have the confidence. Nobody has confidence. You got to start off with courage. You got to have the guts to go possibly look like a donkey, mess stuff up, and then decide, do I do that again or not? That's what Nicole personifies. That's why all these people here, I mean, I've had a rough month, rough day. I have been down, man, and I didn't have to hide that. I didn't have to, go from faking it, didn't have to, be depressed. I just told it. And the support that these people, most of them in the daggum chat right now, Leslie Nidick, Susanna Don, obviously Raquel, the list goes on and on. See ya. I don't have to hide that. Matter of fact, we work closer together. We have close friendships, and that makes our business even more fun and more explosive. It really is, man. It's a utopian attitude. So I just love just being me. I love being me. I love having other people come in and be themselves. It's a freeing ass way to be, man. So I just appreciate everybody, the support. You know, reach out to people. I think that's the thing, man. This kind of thing right here, them showing up, putting in the effort during lunchtime at work or whatever they're doing, that is worth 10 viral posts to me, Donald. I mean, you could disagree. I don't think you will, but um, this kind of thing, that's where you connect. That's where you take it from virtual, imaginary people land to this is a real part. Kristen Wilkinson is a real person on the other end of that. She is it's just like face to face. And I think you and I share that mindset. And I think the biggest thing your audience can take away, that's just not offline. I don't use the words in real life because these are real living people. They pay taxes, right? These are people who have jobs and dreams and fears. It's just we're communicating in a different fashion. So appreciate and love everybody, and that's what I seek to be. I'm in a rough spot right now. I'm disorganized. I'm like a cat on a chasing a laser light on crack, man. At the same time, I'm not depressed as I could be because I'm open about it, and these people support me, and they're my tribe, and they're my flock, and that's what it's about. I mean, seriously, connecting at a heart level is not hokey and it's not weird. In fact, it's weird that we do business without trying to connect with people because I don't know about you, but man, when I love somebody to the core and share their values, I'll put in more work. I'll put in extra work. I'll make less money per hour because I believe in that person. Man, does that make sense?
It
Do you
makes
feel me?
perfect sense. And what's so important is what comes around goes around. And you're right. The idea is being proactive with your initiative of outreach, right? I mean, while you're sitting waiting for some happen, you could be making some happen, and whatever is going to happen is going to happen, whatever you do or don't do. But at least you're doing instead of thinking about what someone's doing for you or you're waiting
Right.
on somebody, right? I mean, I said if I was looking for a job, the last thing I do is send a resume to 1,000 people who already have 10,000 resumes just like it. I'd flick
Yeah.
on LinkedIn Live and talk from 9 to 12, get a bite to eat, get back on, and keep talking. And eventually someone will see you, your voice will
Right.
be heard, and you'll be learning how to do things for yourself. This
Yeah.
is a decentralized world. The hope is peer to peer. It isn't waiting for institutions to show up because they can't, right? People need
Right.
things now. We've got things now. There's only 2.2% of the population on LinkedIn that's 55 or older. And there's 82% between 18 and 34. And it's not that there's too many young people, but there's so many people who don't know what it is, don't know how they could use it. To your point, if it changed your life, and I see that as a common thread, it's not unusual. It's expected when you do it right, because I was just like you, Mike. When I got on, I was like, how many connections, how many outreach things? And I got from 5,000 to 25,000 connections in 3 months by bringing everybody together in a tagging group that wasn't a pod, but was like we're doing here. People showing
Yeah.
up every day for each other. And I saw the power of that, but all I saw was planting, cultivating, and no harvesting, which is more connections, more conversations, more friends. But where is it going? And I've
Right.
done a post every day for 3 years and a LinkedIn Live every day for 10 months, 7 days a week. And what I learned
Woo.
is LinkedIn Lives have 24 times the comments of an organic video. So the reach is enormous. And instead of trying to be all yourself, this is so easy to enter Mike's group, my group. And what I want to do is get away from Mike and my to our, because if
Right.
building connections are so valuable, why not build communities with communities and open doors between everybody and let people go back and forth? Because with 900 million people and only about 2% create anything and about 18% consume anything, the population is so in need of what we're doing here. Because the
Wide
other
open.
thing, right, there's so much noise out there in the mob, the posting, commenting, wink, wink, nod, nod, environment. When you can steal off to an island in the sun with 100 of your closest friends and then go to work together away from that stuff. The world's your oyster. So let me just recognize some more people here, because Nicole again, Gail is here. Gail's a visitor that comes often. Paul, we talked about Paul. Like I say, I don't know how Paul does anything, because he's on every show I ever see. And he must have a system. I always admire how eloquent Mike Ashabraner can speak about the essence of community and why he does what he does on a daily basis. Well, when I look at these opportunities that we're having today, I like being one of 50 on the ground together, enjoying the show myself, versus somebody on top that looks down or at people below them and thinks they know everything those people need to know. And that should be enough. And it isn't. So what's your thoughts on all these comments and this interaction?
Oh man, yeah, I agree, and I think Paul, and I always say Deech. I don't know if it's Deech. Paul, we need to talk. I don't know why we haven't yet, man. But I see Paul everywhere. I mean, I already know the guy. But think about this. I always tell people, because we both teach people how to grow on LinkedIn, but how to get things done through community, which is vastly different than most things that's being taught, right? And people enjoy it. They relate to it. It's easier. We coach, right? We're guides. We're not gurus and master classes and things. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that it's not everybody learns the same way. So what's interesting is a guy like Paul, he's an open slate, right? He just comes in, he does all the right things naturally. It's impressive. But what I promise people is more problems. When you hire me or you join the pack and you get in the community, you're going to go from more problems, right? Like Warren Buffett has money problems and we have money problems. The difference is Warren Buffett has better money problems. He's trying to pay less in taxes because he makes too much. We're trying to make more, so we have the tax problem, right? So it's the same. So Paul's going to go from, oh, I got all this time to make friends, to, oh my God, I got 800 messages. Most of them are spam. How do I sort it? What do I say? Do I use a calendar link that will probably piss them off, or do I learn another way? That's where you and I come in. And so I think these things, when people just join the hounds, they just join you, then they go, wow, there's a lot of people here that I can connect with. Their posts go up, their happiness goes up, they're getting more comfortable. Man, it takes the first step, baby steps. And everybody in this comments has courage. They made a sacrifice. They took off. They have at least the subconscious sense to invest in themselves through others. And so who can ask for more? I would rather take 17 to 20 of these folks than 600 people that don't engage with me, who don't share my value, who doesn't really get it, who won't pay it forward. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? This is
Oh,
what's special. It's quality over quantity, man. And I love it.
yeah. And it's, the deeper you go, the richer it gets, right? So
Absolutely.
instead of knowing a lot of people a little, you're better off knowing a few people a lot. But it's also who
Right.
wants to climb today, right? I mean, it's who's ready to go. And that's who you want to work with, is the people who are going to work, right? There's a saying, it's easier to give birth than raise the dead, right? And too many people go
Right.
back to what hasn't worked with who hasn't worked with them and trying to coax them. Because what I created was an outbound strategy strictly based on inbound. So I just not go after, but reach out to people who are viewing my profile, commenting on my post, participating in the program, because you want to nurture that. You want to build a fire under it. People show up,
Right.
you can't expect them to be instant, potatoes or something, right? Just add water. You got to work with them. And that's where having that conversation. I won't connect with somebody I won't have a call with. If I'm already
Right.
limited before I even get started, why would I create a situation like that?
Right.
Right. And then I would call people I'd like to connect with, but when you get enough inbound, when you got a pull strategy, you're done chasing. You're done selling. It's like you see it, you hear
Yeah.
it, you see what I'm into. And if you do this enough, I can't be living a lie, right? Especially when there's no
Right.
charge.
Right.
That alone, just having to, and the show is actually the best part of the whole process. It's preparation, it's promotion, it's support. and you got to do it all right, or you're not walking the walk, right?
Right.
Because that's the expectation you're building on the screen. So what do you think, Mike?
Oh man, you hit on so much. You say things more eloquent than me. So the way I would phrase that is dog catching versus bug zapping, right? So that's where the hairline went away, right? Direct messages and not knowing and pitch slapping. That was dog catching. When you chase something that doesn't want to be caught, what the hell does it do? It runs away faster. But bug zappers, man, hey, you plug them in, they don't move a muscle. All right. Things flying to them all night. And that is not something reserved for me and you. We're not special people. All right. In fact, if you're listening, we're teaching you. So here's the practical advice that we promise them. This is my best effort. So how do you go from dog catching, pestering people, inbox connection? I don't hardly ever send a connection request. I hardly ever send a message. And yet I get inundated. All right. Just like you do. And here's how it does. It's the kindergarten skills mentality. How many people can I go out and make smile today? Well, who can I mean, think about this. Think about the logic. Someone gets up in the morning, they think, hey, I'm going to post something. This is something meaningful. I hope I make a connection. They want something. And what the hell happens? They get back in the evening and they got one like, and it's probably spam. That happens every single day to this person. All of a sudden, you come along, I come along, Raquel comes along, Janice, and they say, hey, I like this. And they tag me. And then all of a sudden, the next day, out of nowhere, they got 30 comments. And who do you think they like? Who do you think they want to come on their daggum show? When me and you show up and we tag our friends and their show goes from 6 peak to 16, we don't have to sell. They want us. They're curious. They appreciate that. And you and I lead by value. So here's my thing, guys. Listen, think of everything like a game of ping pong. LinkedIn is a game of friendly ping pong. Get your mind right. This is not a tournament where you're going to win money. All right. This is a friendly exhibition. All I want you to do is run around like Donald Cohen's always telling you. All right. Like and follow and connect and engage. Sort people. Here's how. Hit the ball. If I hit the ball to Donald and it bounces off his chest, right? So he doesn't respond. He doesn't reciprocate, comment. He doesn't like my stuff in return. He just gives me that stupid thumbs up emoji, right? We all hate in the inbox. Hey, he's not playing ping pong, at least not today. He may next month, but we're just going to hit the ball to all kinds of people. When they hit the ball back, right? Like all the people in this chat, we hit the ball to, they hit it back or they wouldn't be here. So when that happens, we test people. We try to figure out who wants to go to the next level, right? Take them as far as we can go. That's really all it is. So I do something nice for you, you do it back. And it's not that we're keeping score. All right. It's that we know that good people can't help but to reciprocate. That's why we're here. You helped me, I helped you, and we just kept up in that, right? Because that's who we are. We're not going to just take advantage of somebody. We saw value in each other, and the people here see value in us and each other. It's leadership. You and I created an environment for good people to thrive, to people to do more business, for people to, we didn't make it happen. We just created the environment, just like a greenhouse would for a tomato plant. That's all we did. And this is why it's amazing because I don't have to do anything. These folks send me folks all day, just like you people send you people all day. Man, and it starts with good heart, kindergarten skills, and the courage to look like a jackass in the beginning. That's really that's the magic, guy. That's all I got to. That's all I 2 cents, man. But that's why I think people like me because I mess it up. I messed it up worse than anybody. Now I know how not to mess it up.
Yeah, but I find the more normal you are, the more at ease and comfortable you are, it projects and it allows people to get more comfortable with themselves and you, right? So you're setting a tone, but by not overcompensating like so many people do. Like they got to be an authority, they got to be an expert,
Right.
they got to have letters after their name, and what I see, people want to do things with people they like, respect, trust. And LinkedIn Live and these shows give you an opportunity to get to know everybody a little bit every day if you want, right? It ain't like buy the car today or see you tomorrow, right? It's like come back tomorrow. It's up to you. See, I trust people to trust themselves. And when they see something better, feel something better, they're going to get spending more time on that than things that aren't providing for them. So all you got to do is be one of the special hours of the day, right? And if you got something better than what me and Mike are doing, I want to know, because I want to be part of it, right? I want everybody to know. Give you an example. Constance Leland, who's here, had a call yesterday with because she came participating on the show. And anybody who participates on a show and wants to be a guest here, just reach out to me, and I'll have a call with you. And if you're like everybody else here, generous, giving, and everybody's got giving muscles. How many times a day do you exercise them? Because any muscle exercise will get stronger for the person who has that. And, how hard is it to share something? That's another point. People are sharing stuff they think might be important to somebody. And Mike is absolutely right. When I got on LinkedIn, I start driving around a neighborhood and I said, where are all the cars parked? Right? And I would go and see somebody have one car in their driveway and they have beautiful content, spend a lot of time, right? But no audience. And if you're not building audience while you're building content, you're talking to yourself every day. And then knocking yourself out thinking, why doesn't anybody respond? This isn't like buying an ad on the Super Bowl where everybody sees it. The only people see it is the people who know you. So if you jump on board a freight train that's going downhill really quickly, right, with a lot of cool people, I would buy that ticket over, here's the jungle, good luck. So I think that's the other thing. I want to recognize some people. Susanna's here, and she's just a wonderful connection and has a tremendous story. And I probably look forward to having her come on the show and tell it, because it's all about people's stories, right? They say facts tell, stories sell. And people, like going to a doctor and he says, take an aspirin, and you say, how's it work? And he says, swallow it. That's all you got to know is what you got to do, not what it does, right? It's how do you make it work? Saya's here. I get so bad with names. Good morning, everything. I think I reached out to Saya too. I mean, I just love meeting people and having people meet people, because it should be everybody's choice to make a choice. Right? You can't lead and also restrict. So many people gets people in a room and they lock it down instead of opening up more doors to more doors, because the stronger everybody here gets, the stronger the group gets from their strength, from their experience, and people come back. If you let them go, they'll come back, right?
Yeah.
And
I got some stories on that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Lillian's here. Lillian's coming on the show. So yeah, I can't thank everybody enough. Leslie, I'll just go through it because a lot of the same names, but really quality people. I mean, this is like a red flag saying, hey, I could be helpful. I may not be the total answer, right? And everybody gets to know people. And, the other thing I found about doing shows with people who are typically more aligned with other groups is it gives them exposure to their own people who come over to see them. So just like what we're doing, we're building audiences by bringing two of us on. When you have three on, you're building their audience. And what I've noticed about LinkedIn, if you see the common connections you have with somebody, even if you think you're so in the same ballpark, it's only about 10%. So if you have 20,000 and I have 30, we're both picking up visibility and, more importantly, third-party validation. Because if Mike says, hey, I'm a great guy, it's much better me saying that. And if I say Mike's a great guy, and then let's say, our communities say, wow, he's been vetted again, right? Even if I make a mistake, I can now blame it on someone. So I mean, there's something for the lack of maybe total courageousness, if that's a word. Saya says, hey, Susanna, Dawn and Paul, I thought you guys were live too. Morning, all. So stoked to be able to jump in and support you. Kristen, thank you so much, Kristen.
Kristen Wilkinson, Kiki, she is a brand new, I mean, just hatched town, man. So she was just, we excited. All right, Susanna Dawn, man, you're talking about Susanna Dawn. You're talking about a master storyteller. Not just the techniques of knowing how to form a story like it's medieval days, right? Like, that's all you had. You had no paper, right? But the meaning and the realness, the heart behind it. It was such a unbelievable to hear Susanna Dawn tell the story. Like I was captivated, like it was Fast and the Furious or some shit. Like it was just amazing to see that the skill and the heart come together. That is a rare occurrence, man. So kudos.
Yeah, that is so true because that's the differentiation between everybody can come on because they got a story and because they're supporting it, but is there a chance to, in a way, audition for coming on again? And
Right.
some people come on and it's all about self promotion, it's all about being pushy. I always wonder because I get a lot of requests from, people who have bigger numbers and maybe whatever, some metric.
Right.
But they just think that they can talk anywhere without ever visiting the show, knowing the audience, understanding the format. And it's like a bull in a china store again. It's like I feel sorry because
Right.
there's a point where people feel entitled, and there's another point where people feel grateful. And I'll say one thing. I've been hugely successful in parts of my career, but I always learn more on the way down than I learned on the way up. And going down makes you humble and modest, right? And you
Right.
appreciate things you take for granted if it's all only one way up. And I think that's the beauty of sharing stories and experiences, because this is a knowledge share times 40, 50 people in the same place at the same time in real time. And, real conversation and thought, and it's moving people's ideas around. It's moving their attention, because I remember anytime people talk about their grandparents, everybody starts thinking about their grandparents, and that story comes up for them, or that moment, and it took the place of something that was maybe bothering them or a bad loop, and just
Right.
redirecting someone's thought and attitude. And that's what I learned about this show. I started out with strategy and technique, and like a week and a half was depression, anxiety, PTSD. And at that point,
Yeah.
everybody was meeting exactly at the same level. And
Yeah.
that's not very attractive if you're a salesman, you know?
Right. Right.
So, and anyways, this is really cool the way this is coming together. It is really building bigger communities with communities.
Yeah, man. Again, you unpack so much there. But I love what you said about the self promotion. People are like bloodhounds, man. They can sniff out BS and winners on a biological level, right? It's not even psychological. It's back when the caveman days. I got out of the cave. There's a bush, or is it a bear? If it's a bush, I can eat. If it's a bear, I'm dead. So you ever met somebody you just didn't like, but you had no reason for it? Yeah, that's your fight, flight, and freeze response. That's your biology. That's your reptilian brain. And I think sometimes um, we overlook that, don't lean into that. I mean, the simple answer is this, and I know I'm crude, but hey, this is why people get it. Don't forget it. Remember, for years, this is how I was. I couldn't do what other people did. I couldn't be the salesman, the spokesman, the whatever that other people in my industry could do, and I felt defeated, and I felt like I couldn't. I was defective. And really, here's what was happening. I was like somebody who was trying to sell adult magazines at a monastery. That it wasn't that I sucked or lacked the skill. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like selling steak to a vegan. It's just goofy. So what happens is you think that, well, I suck as a salesman because nobody bought my steak. What's the reality? The reality is they don't eat it. So it's nothing to do with you. So better go to a hoedown or a pig roast and sell your steak. You'll sell out, even if you're the crappiest salesperson on earth with no skill, because the value, the desire is there. And I think that's what you're trying to drive home in a redneck way of saying what you're saying is you're giving people value and a sense of belonging. All right. And that's what we strive to do. The environment is what matters. So if I make a mistake, will I get laughed at? Will I be shunned? Will I be not taken seriously? Will I lose business? And the answer to all that is hell no, absolutely not. Um, Now, we want you to grow. We want you to get your stuff together. We want you to do business and communicate and participate. But man, perfection. I mean, look who the leader is, right? Like, how can I expect you to be polished and perfect when I'm the crustiest bucket in the garden, man? So, hard attitude is what matters most. That again, and not everybody subscribes to that. Not everybody will, but that's okay. 900 million people, you can suck real bad, and I still think you can do 1,000 to 10,000. You just have to be willing to talk to and put yourself out there daily, like you have, Donald. That's why I like you. You practice what you preach. You put in the hard work. You don't find scapegoats. You don't find easy ways out. You do the hard work, man. Um, and I think that's the confidence. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when your business will grow. When you join the pack, when you hire me, you hire Donald. I just know it will if you stay consistent and lead with the right mindset. Uh, and on top of that, you and I have opposite. We can talk about this if you want. It's your show, but we have opposite experiences when it comes to live streams. And I find we were talking about that right before we got here. And that's it. We haven't talked about that, but me and you, we had opposite experiences when we first pushed live. All right, and I didn't know that. That's new to me.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that. In the meantime, I just want to recognize, I was going to say about Constance is I had my call yesterday, and before we're off it, I'm on her show in about a week or so, and she's on my show, and this all happened within a couple days because, you know, if you're with other groups and you know how they operate, that makes it so much easier to transfer and be a co-host somewhere else, right? And
Right.
ultimately have your own show, right? I mean, I look at what I do and what Mike does is really kind of like conductors on a train where we're just onboarding because it is Lincoln Live's
Yep.
platform. We're just using it, we're just leveraging it, and it don't cost nothing. And Microsoft is supporting it. So how many people? I'll give you an example. There's only 36,000 newsletters on LinkedIn out of 900 million people. Well, how many LinkedIn lives are there below that? I'm here every day. I know pretty much a lot of people. If there was something really hot and exciting, I would have heard it, seen it, felt it somewhere, right? But let's just say there's 1,000. I don't know where the 1,000, but whatever you want to say. When you're at such an advantage from where people aren't to where people should be, right? When I was in sales, and I love sales if done right, the easiest sale was comparison, right? Here's exactly what you're doing. Here's exactly what you're getting. You show me if I'm wrong. Here's what I have. And you can add to what you have. You don't have to subtract, right? You keep everything you got if you like it. I found when you don't have to make people think or work at something, they end up doing it more often. And that's why I did 7 days a week, 11 a.m. No thought. It's always here every day. By the time you forget yesterday, you're going to start thinking about the day you're in. And I think consistency is so important. Showing up,
Yeah.
being the model of what you want other people to duplicate, because the only reason I would do this is to do something really important first, because I always found the money always follows if you do what you're supposed to do first, and it has to be sustainable and
Right.
duplicatable and scalable. So getting to our conversation um, about LinkedIn and how we look at, let's say, individuals now as maybe how we used to, and how this all is working. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Man, I agree with everything you're saying. And I think the practical application for people watching, all right, the people in the comments, because me and you kind of, we're the calculus professors. We forget that a lot of folks are still in fifth grade math, right? That's just, we were in fifth grade math once upon a time, but now we're professors. And so here's what I want people to take away from my experience, because I love what you said. It's everyone, think of it this way. Think of everything you do. We got to get more playful, man. We're too much stress on each other, ourselves. We're pressured to make sales, to show up perfectly, not to have a Zoom problem that is completely outside of our daggum control. We need to let shit go. Excuse my language, but we got to let stuff go. So I want to encourage even the three-piece suit wearers out there right now, man. If you people will feed off your energy. And if you are relaxed and confident and say, you know what, I make a mistake every 2 months, get over it, right? Other people will, man, they'll appreciate that. So here's what I want you to do. When you go on LinkedIn and do anything, experiment, try, maybe you're restarting, you've been out for a while. Think of it as an experiment. Because if think about this, professional educated science labs, you won't go into one. Imagine this, Donald. You walk into a science lab. All of a sudden, there's a scientist. He starts cussing, throwing beakers, and just giving up, and everybody starts raising hell because the experiment doesn't work the first time. They expect failure. 600, matter of fact, after 600 failures, they're elated because they thought it would take 6,000 tries to fail, and they got it early. So I don't know why there's so much pressure, so much angst, and I feel it too. That's my week has been full of fear and angst, but hey, why do I care? This is not what brought us to the game. What brought us to the game is having all passion and no clue, Donald. Honestly, think back to your first, you didn't have a clue what the hell you were doing. You probably didn't even do it well if you're me, but it worked. And then as we start pressuring ourselves to be perfect and squeaky clean, in fact, when your content and your live stream is so good, it takes away from your know, like, and trustability, man. That's what it could be too daggum good. And that's where I've seen a lot of people struggle. Look, my life ain't perfect. I'm goofy, but I'm a professional you can trust, but I'm also a real dude. And I think permission. I mean, Kiki, she is one of the best examples, man. She is an open book. She's a coach, and she's teaching out of experience, right? Uh, so have an experimental mindset. Okay. Say something. You know what? You can delete anything on LinkedIn. And matter of fact, nobody's paying that much attention to you. Yeah, you think, oh my God, I misspelled the word. Everybody's going to laugh at me. Don't, they're too busy worried about their own crap. And in fact, I did it the other day. I put together a big, smart post and made a stupid spelling error. Well, we know if we delete it, it could, cause issues, algorithm and stuff. So I just laughed at it. I said, hey, before you call me out, yeah, I made a mistake. It happens once a year, whatever. And then other people went, yeah, who cares? So have a playful kindergarten attitude, build your foundations from that. And it's marketing after kindergarten skills. That's the, I have marketing and branding and I'm flushing, but kindergarten skills, Donald, that's what you do. Go out there and make people smile, give them likes, give them follows, give them connection. Hey, I don't know crap about the medical field, but I know 500 medical people I could tag in that lady's post, and I can make the conversation happen. That's how you get advocates. That's how you get people like Raquel Flores. All right. She kicked my butt. She absolutely. So I've been helping her, and she's been a Hounds OG original. So she started stomping me. And matter of fact, tonight, if she restreams my show, she'll beat my numbers. That could be embarrassing, but it's exciting. I'm like the fat gymnastics coach, dude. I'm like the guy training Olympic athletes now. Like, I'm not training you to be me. You're gonna be 6 times better than me, man. So what does she do though? She talks about us and the Hounds and me and everybody else. That's proof positive. What you're doing and saying, people do the same thing about you. You don't talk about you. You love on other people because they expect us to talk about us. What they don't expect is all these amazing people going, woo, look at the redneck and Donald. That and you can't fake it. So experiment, be playful, screw it up. And if people come down on you, you're in the wrong damn place. It's not you. You just got to keep finding the people that are just like you. That's the biggest misnomer of LinkedIn, that I'm defective. You're just in the wrong place. That's what do you think, man? You agree?
Oh, absolutely. And, everybody on the outside is different, but everybody on the inside is the same. Right. And if you want to start judging a book by its cover, you're never going to get the value of what's between those covers. Right. And my feeling is I don't know what I don't know. And if I don't know what is, I don't know what isn't. And why should, I'm always into buying some more vowels before you solve the puzzle. There's, if you have an everlasting demand, which, like to Mike's point, I do, no one person you're waiting on anymore. No one person are you dependent on. So when you've got a lot going on with a lot of people, then now you're the qualifier, you're the chooser, and you decide what fits for your people and you know, because I look at this as a mosaic. Everybody brings a little piece to the picture, and collectively, it's more beautiful than any little piece could have ever been seen or appreciated. And, you know, lifting people up is lifting you up. And here's another thing. What sounds like the good thing to do is actually the best thing to do for doing what you want to do, right? If you're out there defending and competing, how much time are you supporting? How much time are you growing? And who wants to be on defense? You know, it's the offense that scores the the touchdowns. And, you know, here's the thing, failure, who chooses what it is? Who takes somebody's opinion over yours who you don't even know? Are you waiting for someone to say something so you don't have to, or you don't have to go forward and do something? So, you know, time waits for no one. Nobody should wait on time. You know, people wake up today, don't go to sleep tonight. People go to sleep tonight, don't wake up tomorrow. You know, and my feeling is if you're here now, be doing and be doing it with other people. And enough times people say, I'm here for you, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. If you don't believe them, test them. Right? You get it. Go ahead.
You said the magic word, Donald. Test people. Test them. That's it. Don't waste your time and knowledge on people who won't reciprocate, who don't deserve it, who won't use it or use it against you. But daggone, dude, test people. What's that mean? You know, again, it's I said something to Donald. Donald reciprocated. He tags me, I tag him. That's testing. He could have done it 3 times. I ignored him and he moved on. You know, daggum shame. So yeah, and by the way, you touched on something that I got to say something, man, because I want to make sure people get something out of this because they're still here. And I love it. So the ego, and I've seen that, right? You've experienced it. You're just a humble guy in a hat, and then all of a sudden you're like redneck Elvis. It's a weird people. I'm nervous to meet you. Who the hell would be nervous to meet? I'm in a shed, daggone. So here's the fun part. I don't have to worry about it. Somebody asked me the other day, Mike, what are your weaknesses? I looked at him like a broken edges sketch. I said, I don't know. I outsource that stuff. What the hell are you talking about? Because I have people around me. I have people around me who have strengths that I don't have, and they shore up the weakness. I outsource my weaknesses. I don't know. Jody takes it. Sia takes it. I take theirs. We work in unison. So I think the thing is that and I would give this to Paul because Paul's going to be even bigger redneck Elvis, man. And I say, hey, Paul, in your example, um, lean on your people. Here's why. If I become big headed and I get ego because I have 95% of awesome women singing my praises, right? Somebody mentioned, I said, here's why I'm not up my own tailpipes. I'm not ego, and I'm not because guess how many text messages I would get. You know how many women mostly would say, hey, knock it off. You're acting like a donkey. So it's a checks and balances. I rely on the people in my community to keep me in check because we're a well organized wolf pack, and a lot of other places seem to be a hyena packs, right? Um, we work in unison. I'm only the alpha and the leader because the pack lets me be, because I earn that. I have their best interest. I care about them. And the day that I become care about myself more than them, I expect them to remove me. And that's how this works, man. This is how we do business. And um, but yeah, I think the attitude of kindergarten skills, and stop blaming yourself. That you gotta stop blaming yourself when people reject you. It's not you. They still reject me. I just don't care because I got Donald. Right? I got other people. So just keep moving forward, man. Baby steps are steps, and you got Donald, me, and all the people here. If you're not connecting, and by the way, last little thing while I'm preaching here, go to everybody right now, open their profile because they're still here with you, and go like and comment some of their posts. Don't leave a message, leave a comment. Say thank you in the comments because that helps them in their engagement. All right. And if they don't reciprocate, do it again, do it a couple times, move the hell on. What do you think about it? Because I have you agree.
I think, you know, you really took off on that testing thought. And that's the good thing about being spontaneous is things will come up you could have never planned.
Yeah.
but I agree with you. Is if you are a fan of the saying sharing is caring, right? Or caring is sharing, and they both work the same way. What are you sharing? Everybody built networks, communities, 5,000 connections, 20,000 followers, whatever it is. Talking about ego, do you think you're Shakespeare overnight because now you have to write? Right? You're as good a writer yesterday as you were today, no matter what you joined. So the point is why share something that you're not that good at, like Mike says? Why not share something that's important to you and could be important to them? So instead of sharing a flower with a saying with something else, why not say, I just saw Mike's show. I want to bring this up. And the way to get into a community is to start supporting the community. Right? If people keep coming to this show, I'm going to keep having them on the show because they're already interested and they're already participating. But it's just like chasing connections. If I want to say, oh, that person has a big following, what ain't my following? And it's probably the following I used to think I had with a bunch of vanity numbers. And really, your numbers, they should have another number. Who do you talk to? Who do you work with? Right. And then what's the point? Sorry about that. That's live.
No, man. Well, on to that point.
It off. Okay, here I am. I think that's really the point: is who do you work with? Who do you want to work with? Who's already working with you that you haven't responded? Who's been giving you 3 comments that you haven't returned? And, don't say it if you're not going to do it, because time will either promote your exposure. And, trust is so hard to build and so easy to lose. And here's another thing. If you're going to see everybody every day and they reach out and say, can we have a chat? And you come across as being the benevolent caregiver and you don't respond, being there the next day isn't going to feel that good. And really, everybody, if they care about each other, wants to alert people, right? If someone's got their shoes untied, you feel guilty if they fell down before you got a chance to tell them, and when you ask them, why did I wait? And, what's good for you is good for people like you. I promote everybody's shows because I know these people. I work with these people like Kelly, like Christy, and now getting to know Mike better today. And Raquel was on the show a couple weeks ago. Now people know we come in peace, right? And if you can bring tribes and clans together who are already like-minded, how much better is that? Because freeing people up is the key to community, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so many key words that go along with community that we've kind of shared. But I think ultimately it's perspective, right? Too many people try to do too much, too fast with too little, and get all over themselves because of it. I always say, I got to have 5 rejections before I'm going to really appreciate a success. So when you get turned down, you figure, well, that's 60% of the way home or 40% of the way home. Sometimes you get lucky and win on the first round. But, if you feel good about who you are, how you are, what you're doing with who you're doing, that's a hell of a tailwind compared to someone going off on their own in unknown territories. Because here's the other thing, and I know it's hard for people to appreciate. You should be having fun and happy times along the way, right? This shouldn't be a struggle. Right. This shouldn't be work. I couldn't do this every day if I had to wake up and say, wow, one more a day. The majority of people, though, do. And what I've always said, a job is called just over broke. So this is a place you can build your future with people who will help you. And that's one of the things I always say. If you can't do it, could we do it together? Right? And that could be so important for someone who just needs a little bit of help to get them out of wherever they're at, to get them back on the road. Be the AAA for people. So, what do you think? A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, again, man, birds of a feather flock together, man. And that's pursuit of happiness. It's in the Bill of Rights. And it's not happiness, it's the pursuit of. And when I turned 40, I was always just this close to winning, but never winning or never hitting a goal or comparing myself to people. The stuff we do and don't talk about. I ain't the only daggone one. I know y'all doing it, but I'm the one saying it. So, if I'm saying it, hopefully you'll be free to say it. Because once you call something out, it gets easier it's like the monster under the bed when you were a kid. It's not really a monster. In fact, it's a teddy bear. It's just bad lighting, right? And I think that's so. When I turned 40, here's what happened. I said, you know what? uh, I just want to be happy. I want to be at peace and I want to enjoy life. I'm tired of just going at it, trying to make money, win the corporate rat race. Even if you're still a rat, and even in business, you can make money and not know your children for 10 years. So I said, look, I'm going to be a rodeo clown or some crap I can't be successful at. If I can't be successful doing this, then I got to go chase a bull around a barrel or some goofy thing or, go to a comedy club and try that. Uh, and as soon as I did that, things got easier. Not overnight. I still have to work. I still have to show up, but I didn't have the control. Like I didn't wake up every day and had to make the universe work. Right. Like I had to control everything. If somebody fell out, if someone disagreed, it was my fault. And boy, that's wrong. So I want to tell everybody, let go of all the crap that's keeping you from trying. That's what the pack is for. If you're not you don't know where to start. You don't maybe you did start. Maybe you're self-taped some negativity, your parents, people don't understand you. People in your neighborhood, they mean well, but they have jobs. And you start talking about fulfilling a dream and starting a business, you sound like an alien. So I think at this point, the beautiful part is you don't have to leave your house. You can sit in your car on lunch and build a like-minded community. Join and find and sort people that will get you. And people who say, hey, I've been where you're at. I worked a crappy job, went home and wanted to jump off the top of my roof because that's not what I want. But I'm scared and I'm not going to take the leap of faith. That's what this is about. And you said it earlier. We have a lot of different me and Supermom and most people in this community. But however, we got way more in common than we do different. And that's why the meet and greets and the live streams and all this works so well because we're not that different. We are very much the same. We look different on the outside, but there's so much going on. And I'll end on this. Had a lady come in the group. She's a fantastic woman. And about 2 weeks later, I just let them go. I don't tell them what to do. And she said, and she'll know who I'm talking about. She said, "Oh my gosh, did you tell everybody to buy my book?" And I said, "Hell no, I'm not nobody's daddy in here. What are you talking about? I don't tell nobody to do anything." And I said, "Why you ask?" You're like, "Oh my gosh, sold like 7 books in 2 hours." I said, "Of course you did. Because think about it. Are they going to buy some rando's book on this subject that they never met before? Or are they going to take somebody who's had their back and done extra things and been there for them emotionally and business wise for the last 6 weeks? It's a no brainer, dude. So when I say the pack means business, I mean business. We have investors and things going on in there. I had no idea. All I wanted to do was help push people up in any way because when they had a need for what I did, when the economy was bad, when they were let down by some other book on LinkedIn and they were just sick and tired of being sick and tired, I knew I would be their guy. Not because I sell pitch or pitch, sell and pitch lab, but because they knew who I was. And as corny as that may sound, Donald, man, if anybody gets it, it's got to be you. They
Oh,
know we have value, but now they know that we care about them 1000%. What's left? I trust the guy with my life, and he's got the best value I can get. It's over.
yeah. And I think it's all based on strong, consistent, honest communication, right? You only get
Right.
doubt when you don't know what it is that puts the picture all together for you. And it is the doing. I mean, if someone paid you to do LinkedIn just 8 hours a day, how many people are actually doing 8 hours a day on LinkedIn if they're waiting for something else to do? And if you can't hire yourself to do better for yourself than somebody who isn't hiring you right now, you know, and just start doing it. And this is like, before there was formal education and there was street education, right? But now through LinkedIn Live and shows like this, you have community education We can walk into a classroom of 40 people already that are already having their classes going on. They ain't waiting for you and don't depend on you. But you know what I say, a lot of people come to these shows and they sit at the last seat next to the exit door, in the back, just in case they got to run out and no one sees them. And then slowly they find out there is no threat here, and they start resonating, moving closer to the audience, and then being the audience, then being a co-host, and then being a LinkedIn Live. Because I'll tell you, the most truest statement you'll ever hear is, if I can do it or Mike can do it, you can do it. That's a sure thing. So, we came in just like everybody else, didn't know what we were doing, and I still don't. And that's the best part of it, because the opportunity is still ahead. If I said, hey, everything's covered, it's topped out, we're good to go, you would say, well, where's the mystery? Where's the magic? Where's the excitement going to come from? And you know what I do believe in every time I ever did a financial projection, is there are things I have yet to learn that year and people have yet to meet, right? And when you add that into what you know, and I think Mike's right, if you take everything you know, add to what this collector group knows, and then add to what that is, you got to have multi-layers of, the hugest birthday cake you'll ever blow out, right? And that's the fun thing of vicariously living through other people's successes. Because again, if someone gets a book and it's a bestseller, if someone gets a big speech and they're part of your group, what it says, it's working, right? Now, it's like popcorn. Maybe they're popping first, but you're going to be popping too if you keep doing it. And I always say, if you want to be what someone else is, do what they do every day, right? If you want to be a golfer, do what a golfer does every day, and you got no choice but becoming one in time. Go ahead, Mike.
Let me clarify that real quick, because I love that. There's at least the way I teach, the way I teach people to grow and grow community, become a key person of influence, man. The way I do it is 30% is science. The other 70% is art, nuance, mystery, who the hell knows. And I think, because I've had people that I've helped and coached, 2 weeks later, they're killing it. I mean, killing it. I mean, they went from 50 to 600 registration for their webinar. Holy cow. But then someone else might take 9 months before who knows? What I'm saying is, you're absolutely right, Donald. That, first of all, get in where you're happiest, right? Find the heart attitude, because you and I don't do business and we don't connect and we don't do live streams based on subjects and metrics. You and I are very, I think, rarish to the fact that we pick people that we like. Then we build a show and a topic and a system around that person. I say it all day long. Dude, you could sell golf balls in air, and I don't care, bro. I care about you, so I'm going to go to bat for you, because you're going to know people that can pay me later. And they will, because you're talking about how awesome I was to you. That's going to pique that lady's interest or that person's interest. So if anybody didn't get anything out of my rambly butt today, Donald, I just want to leave on, take baby steps, have courage. All right. If you go back and look at my first show, if that doesn't give you courage, man, what the hell will? All right. I'm not perfect. We all struggle, but you don't have to do it alone, man. Reach out to Donald, reach out to me, put yourself out there. Johanna Renee is a prime example. We just saw her, fell in love with her, and she overcome her shyness in 5 seconds. And look, now she's doing things. And what she talked about just now, the hounds. Like, all I had to do was find a special person, make her smile, show her how we can help her. And that's what she talks about all day, us. So there's a reflector, there's a spotlight on your chest. It can reflect on anybody but you. That's the secret. I just spoiled Donald's whole secret, man. I just like unveiled Batman right now. It's the daggum spotlight on your chest. It can shine, but here's what people don't realize, man. And me and you realize this through trial and error and experience. People are like giant reflector plates. When I shine my light over there, I got 1,000 of these things beaming back. And that's what makes it special, right? Why Mike? Why him? Because dadgummit, I'm going to do what I say. And I'm not perfect, but I am going to do everything I can. And I take it personal, right? And last thing, I want to know what you think. This is the stupidest saying I've ever heard. And when I know I'm going to get in trouble, but listen, it's not personal. It's just business. why are we saying that? We need to erase that out of whatever history book that shit came out of, because I deal with people's money, livelihoods, hopes, and dreams, Donald. How can it not get more personal than that, man? I know I just opened up a can of worms, but you inspired. It's your fault. But
Well,
that's
no,
me. I lead from the heart.
I love taking responsibility and accountability. And if you can do that first and foremost, you can change. You could forget about the blame game. You could forget about who's
Right.
responsible for what already is done. You can't unring a bell. And you know what I also see is opportunity. And the opportunity is if the hounds have 50, 60, 70, whatever amount of people, they're all learning, growing, changing, and improving together. If my group that just puts this as a priority is at large, every time those 50 people get together with those other 50 people, right? And everybody can fill each other's show. I mean, I just think it's like a comedy club where people travel the circuit, right? And
Right.
the more people that can see each other for who they are, because, in a sense, being a promoter is a quality thing. There's promoters who have no talent whatsoever, but are good at promoting other people
Right.
and have fun doing it and get taken care of because either out of guilt or obligation, people want to keep it going. And the other
Right.
thing I'll say, it is lonely at the top. And the last thing you want to do is be successful and find yourself all by yourself there, right? Instead of the group
Yeah.
that got you there, or you can go beyond that, right? There's a bottom, but there's no top, right? And I think if
Right.
everybody looks
Absolutely.
where they come from and where they've been, they're a little more seasoned to how and where they go, right? Because you want to make it better, you want to make it different, and you want to make it with more people who are right now ready to go. And if people
Right.
respect that some people's time, position, situation isn't right, let them simmer for a while, right?
Yeah.
Let them cook and let them distill, but get the people. And you can't be any more open arms than Mike is or I am, to telling people it's here, it's real, it's right in front of you. Tomorrow, if you make the right move, a year from now, and I hear so many people, that have said that, Nicole, where I am today is where I never thought I'd be, right? And that's continuous. And you know what it means is you're riding a fast track. You got yourself in a Ferrari instead of the tricycle you were sitting on, and it
Right.
wasn't you, it was the vehicle. It wasn't you, it was the crowd that you used as the determining factor to define who you are and what you could be, where you can then walk across the street, get into any of our crowds, right? And you'll have fun from day one if you allow yourself. So the future's bright. You are your own future. You can make it happen from one phone call, one Zoom, even reaching out to Harvey or any of the Kristen. I mean, Kristen comes so I don't even know her, but I sure know her now. And that's the important thing. And I know her with Mike saying, here's what I believe. Right. So, you may not get a paper certification, but we
Right.
can give a lot of verbal certifications to people, and we love it. And here's the thing, like Mike says, when something good happens to you from something or somebody, promote it, right? It's that reciprocal thing. If someone promoted you and you got something, promote them in nothing else but recognizing them, because that's why I try to get as many faces and names on the show, is because if you're here to be seen and heard, and you deserve it. You owe it to yourself. And anything me or Mike does, we're hoping, how people bring you in is how you bring other people in, right?
Right.
Because everybody wants to say, what got you on in Mike's group and what happened after that, right? And based on your story, we'll encourage other people to have that story for themselves. So anyways, what I learned today with me and Mike, we could talk for
Ever.
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 And what the beauty of it is, we have forever to do that. So if you look at every
Right.
ending as being a new beginning, right, and taking a new beginning and being the best you can now with it, right, reinvent yourself to be everything you wanted to be, because you can be with the right amount of support and hard work, right? And dedication, all these other things. So rest up in 23 hours. We'll be back tomorrow. I just want to share. We've got Kelly and I believe Rita on Friday. We got Christy, Harvey, and Don. On Saturday, we've got Leslie. So stay tuned. Mike, I can't thank you enough. Hopefully this will be the first of many more that we do together. And I'm always happy, just like Mike says, reach out to me, share anything as far as if you're interested in being on the show, if you like the show. But I think more importantly, reach out to the people around you, because they're all trying to build, they're all trying to get to know people. And the more practice you have, the better you get at it. So even if you don't win, you'll learn, right?
Yeah, dude, just hey, science experiment. Fail forward. I hate that. I hate cheesy, but that one's true. Fail forward. Expect it. And here's the deal: when you do something goofy and you turn on your live stream and you suck at it, well, guess what? You got more information that you can now improve upon, so you will stink far less the next time if you're a learning human being. That's us, is it not, Donald? All right, I'll quit interrupting.
And I'll say that, unless someone's doing what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, they got nothing to say about it, right? Because they're just talking from the outside, looking at something based on them, and who are them? When you're driving down the road, you're focused on the road, right? You're not looking at birds or trees on the side and casually doing it. You're focused, and you shouldn't let no one take your focus away, and be steadfast. If you got a happy home, you got to protect it, right? You got to take care of it. And you got to be the first to take care of yourself first, because you're the only one who can. And at the end of the night, I'll say this: you come home to yourself no matter who you've been with, right? And that kind of tells you what kind of day you had and what kind of person. And I always say, leave the log pile bigger than you found it, every day in every way, and hope you never got to go back and draw from it. The beauty of putting more money in the bank is never taking it out, leaving it there. Let the goodwill work for you and other people. So anyways, again, we try to cut it short, but we never can. We try. So thank you so much. See everybody again. Love y'all, and